Hey, everybody. Thanks for being patient. I think there was such a big crowd that I think they ended up kind of pushing things out a little bit. So the best thing to do if you're trying to catch a specific talk is to go to the Celo Connect. I guess it's like a progressive web app, and refresh the timing. You haven't missed anything. This is the tech. This is going to be the tech, I guess, room or speaker room. So after us is a bunch of stuff. So I'm happy to kick it off if you folks are. Ready to go? Cool. All right. I don't know if you saw downstairs, they're having issues with the clicker, so maybe it'll also work. Hopefully it'll work for us. So hi, everybody. My name is Eric Nakagawa. I'm a partner helping lead the developer relations team.
And I'm Brandy Camacho, DevRel, Developer Relations, Celo Foundation.
Cool. And yeah, we're here to talk about building on Celo and all the great things that have been happening. We'll cover quite a bit of topics, but I just wanted to give a quick update on kind of like what happened in 2021. Got a beautiful tasting donut here. The donut hard fork, as everybody knows, has made Celo much easier to build on than previously. All your favorite tools are generally pretty easy to use now because of the donut hard fork, adding EVM compatibility. And then after that, just not even a month ago, Espresso hard fork added London and Berlin hard forks from Ethereum into Celo, and it added EIP 1559, which is an interesting burn mechanism. And what that does for Celo is it actually helps to fund the community funding. So I think it's pretty interesting thing that got added to our network. One thing that I like about the Espresso hard fork for developers here is adding the idea of like superfluid and like streaming. I am personally very interested in like how that stuff, what kind of projects you can build. Quick show of hands. Who here is a developer? Just so I get a quick idea. Okay, so a bunch of us. So a lot of what we've been doing on the DevRel team has been, I would say, primarily focused on supporting the developer community in general. And we've been building a lot of stuff around getting people started, right? Like maybe when we have the next Celo Connect, this room's going to be packed. Why? Because we're trying to bring more people into the Celo community. We've been doing a lot of hackathons. I just came from a hackathon yesterday, so if I'm kind of slow, it's because we've had a 3-day hackathon, and it was very exciting. I think something like 44 different projects all over the world, and in Barcelona we had, I believe, 12 different teams. And these people, some of them flew from Netherlands. One guy flew from the UK. I was like, are you crazy? Are you crazy? That guy actually won a prize, so not so crazy. So we're putting on hackathons. Last year we put on DeFi for the People hackathon. Maybe folks in your community or maybe even you participated. That was a big hackathon, and we want to keep doing that. So pay attention, keep an eye out. We're going to be announcing, not today, but we're going to be announcing a hackathon later this month for it to go live in May with a really big partner. Really excited about that. The other thing that we're doing is we're actually producing or working to create more smaller focus hackathons. And why that matters or should matter to you is if you're building a project and you already have a company, and maybe you're building something that could be consumable, like a primitive or something, and you're thinking, this would be cool if I could get someone building on top of this, the thing that I'm building. Talk to the DevRel team. We can find a way, because we're building more frequent hackathons, we can find different ways to kind of work with projects in our ecosystem to give little prizes and bounties. So come talk to us if you're interested in building stuff for devs. Oh, here are the winning teams. So there may be a friendly face here, but some of these people kind of, again, flew from all over. One team from Singapore, but they were a group of students that had been studying in Berkeley and came after the Node hackathon to the hackathon here. Really fortunate for them to make it. The next question that happens with people that build in a hackathon is like, what do you do? Like, what do you do after you build this idea? And like, what should you do? Should you build a company? Should you join another hackathon? We're working to start coordinating our hackathons closer with things like Celo Camp. Has anybody here been through or participating now in Celo Camp? One person. Okay, so maybe the next time we can get more folks in there. I think it's more of a timing thing because these programs are, if they're sequenced correctly, you can really get the most bang for the buck for the participants. So they can go from hackathon, start a company, go through the incubator, and then raise money, and then kind of really spread the whole, the project all over the world. Other things that we've been working on is to make hackathons easier, make things getting started on Celo easier. We've been building a Celo Progressive dApp Starter. It's actually based off of Scaffold ETH. It allows you to basically fork the project and deploy a couple of smart contracts to Alpha Horus in like under 5 minutes if your internet's fast. It's very easy to extend, good for hackathons, but also good for little testing ideas here and there. One big thing that we're also working on, and I see some eco-leads here from the Celo community, is proof of knowledge. Really what that is like different ways for people to prove they know what they say they know. They know how to code, they can prove that they know Solidity through things like NFTs. And we're working with projects to help find more talented developers throughout the community, because a lot of folks here, who here is hiring? Just a quick show of hands. Okay, so to help you folks hire, there's 2 ways to do it. You can just take someone from another project, or you can help to grow people, right? And so through proof of knowledge and the initiatives there are actually going to be led by Brandy. We're going to be talking about different ways to get folks educated, give them all the materials, kind of get them to a point where they can really show off all the great things that they're doing. We have a fun project coming in June. I can't wait to talk about that later. We also launched the Celo community developer blog. And if you folks, again, are building something that has an API or has some sort of works with developers or works for developers, talk to us, because we're looking to get you folks, get your projects more visibility. Right now we have over 24 blog posts by Joe. I don't know if Joe's in the audience. He's just been like having so much fun creating all this new stuff. And we want to start taking the introductory content and moving it to more intermediate and then to more advanced stuff. And I think that's where you folks can bring your projects and get it out to the community. The other kind of category of work we've been doing is on supporting developers. So we know you folks get stuck, and we want to help you folks, and we're adding a bunch of different things to our community to make it easier, to make sure you kind of get noticed and that people actually get the answers that they need. I know so many times people are like, how do I do this thing? And like we're trying to figure out ways to, or we figured out ways to actually help you folks. We're adding a whole bunch of people to our technical community to help answer these questions. And get you folks answers in such a way, like it's kind of like a ticketing tool. So like, like the idea of like an SLA. We haven't said how long or how long we're going to take to respond, but it has sort of been like, shruggy emoji. It's like, it has been like that, and we want to get it more defined so that you folks can get an answer really quick and you get and move on to the things that you're trying to do. Like I said, we're adding some ticketing things to make it easier. And we're also growing our Discord community. I won't call them out because it's embarrassing, but we have one of our new team members helping out in the community, helping to kind of moderate, also helping out in optics. It's optics people tend to have issues not knowing where to click, not knowing what to do, and we want to make sure that like it's real money, and so these people, to them it means a lot, and we want to make sure that they have the support that they deserve. And then, we're working to improve our dev docs. We've gotten a lot of feedback. Some people are like, oh, your docs are so good. And then a lot of people are like, your docs are bad compared to this. And so we hear you. Like, we think they could be better too. So we're working to make our docs better. And we're also doing a couple things to help to make things easier in the sense that we're trying to unify a lot of the examples so that when you're trying to do something in one language and you switch to another language, it kind of looks alike versus being completely different APIs for how you interact with stuff. And again, trying to organize your information. And we want to actually provide a path where like you come to dev docs and it's just like, I'm trying to do this. We want to get you there as fast as possible. And right now it's sort of like you kind of got to click around and you get kind of lost. And we know we can make it better, so we're working on that. And we're investing in the community. As I'd mentioned before, like we're trying to engage and work with communities all over the world. There's a lot of communities that Celo is already in, and we're looking to find kind of a framework that allows people in these regions that have technical skill to have a direct connection with us so that we can help them help your teams or your communities that are out there. And so if you're based here in Barcelona, we've been talking to a lot of great people here. We would love to have a presence here, and to make that work, I think it's a little bit of community, it's a little bit of technical support, sort of. I don't want to call it technical support, but I want to have a technical leader that knows how to build and can answer the questions so that, again, it saves you folks time. And we're also trying to localize a lot of our work. We've done a great job building it, but there's certain things, and when I say localization, I don't mean like English to another language. I mean English Western thinking mindset to Latin American thinking mindset. So we're working on those. We're trying to make the examples more relevant to a lot of our developers all throughout. And then finally, before I kind of hand it off, we're investing in tooling and infrastructure, and we're trying to expand all the things that we could be doing. Yes, we're trying to make it. If there's a tool that you're like, how come Celo doesn't have that? Talk to us. We can help to get that moving quickly. And speaking of things we're investing in, here's Brandy.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, I just want to warn you, I'm going to move around a little bit on stage because I am indeed excited. We're doing some really cool stuff. I don't know if you noticed, but this last year, Celo's been expanding its reach. And matter of fact, that is exactly the theme for this last year, expansion. As you notice, Eric, well done. Many things are moving, and we're doing exceptionally well. So as you can tell on the slide, expanding our reach is the core of my presentation today. Let's talk a little bit more about that. Like, what does that really mean? Well, Celo did a fantastic job. Mobile first, a blockchain platform scaled for the future to be globally accessible for everybody, right? We need to make it at reach for all communities across the world. With that, we had some challenges, right? You heard earlier, we had some hard forks. The Donut hard fork really allowed us to expand our tool set to general purpose EVM tooling. That means you have such a vast catalog of tools available to each and every one of you to go ahead and build right on the Celo platform. And then, of course, next, mobile focus. So we have mobile web. You'll see tons of our resources, all available to help you build as fast as possible, right? Like React Native, we have some mobile web resources with progressive web apps. And you can count on the fact that this next year, we're going to continue to scale this out to make sure that we stretch that reach even further. Yes, right? Thank you. So I want to go into with native mobile, right? This is a missing piece. When Eric and myself onboarded, we're like, we love native mobile. We love the hardware abstraction layer. And we were like digging in. Can we build on Celo with native mobile? And we can. We have a Java SDK. It's available now, and you certainly can port that Java SDK to Android to create a native mobile experience. And this is important because that hardware abstraction layer, all those sensors, and as these mobile phones advance, and the reach, several communities leapfrogging, we need to make sure that we give them the tools needed to jump on board for the next revolution of mobile blockchain technologies. And I do believe that we are the leader, and we're going to continue to do so. So without a doubt, Celo Foundation has put its place in. We have a grants program there to support you, the community. You have a great idea, you want to contribute, you want to be part. We are open arms to you. Just reach out to us. Eric alluded, contact us anytime, and that means that's true for any vertical within our organization. Our org definitely cares. We want to make sure that we're impactful, and we have a purpose. Our mission is sound. So Celo Foundation issued a grant in partnership with Haymate. Haymate is a decentralized gig economy provider. Now, what I love about Haymate, they had a problem, they communicated with us. They're like, hey, React Native is super cool. And indeed, React Native is cool. These are all tools for a developer's toolbox to build useful things, right? It's about your users, it's about connecting. It does really cool stuff. But with native mobile, what I was talking about earlier, that hardware abstraction layer, Haymate needed it. So they actually started building it. They communicated with us and man, this is a really good idea. We want that too. And so Eric and myself, we just started communicating. We built a relationship, and we started developing it. So I want to introduce the Celo iOS SDK. It's available. I know it's an early release, folks. It's an early release, but don't worry. You can play with this now. When you think of an SDK, that's a software development kit. That means you have options, right? There's methods and functions that ease your development workflow so you can have impact with your offering. So this is alpha release. We have so much more work to do. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and just share with you that it's usable, right? You can play with this now. It's excellent. You can go ahead and manage a wallet, create a wallet, perform transactions, There's even more available, so please check it out. But we're not done yet, right? There's so much more to do. It's really about standardizing the developer interaction. Earlier, Eric alluded to Unify. And I think that's kind of like underrepresented. Unify is so important. The more that we can unify as a community, the more that we can take these toolings and bring unification to the table across all the different language sets, in a way be language agnostic. I mean, to me, that's the golden zone for developers. Give you the tool that you need to do your job the best with as least friction as possible. So, standardizing developer interaction is at the forefront of our SDK efforts. That's why it's an alpha release. We have work to do. We want to make sure this experience is consistent. And we need your feedback, right? Because we're human, we're going to make some mistakes, and that's okay, because together we're going to build it and we're going to make it better. So, on the screen here, you'll notice, there's some useful SDK functions, like how you can utilize it in Swift. It's the standardization of implementing these, right? Like, if I want to set up a function with a wallet, it's like Celo SDK, shared, initialize wallet connect. We want to make sure that that's consistent. Moving forward, I also want to make sure that we don't ignore Android. Like, yeah, we have Java, and yes, you can integrate right now, but there is some friction when it comes down to the integration, taking a native Java SDK and porting that over to Android. There's some work that you have to do. So we want to remove that friction. And I also alluded earlier in the previous slide, standardize, right? So if we didn't do anything with Android, when you go between a project that's on iOS and Android, you're kind of feeling left behind. So that's why Android is coming soon. I want to give this to you now. I want to be able to say Android is working great. It's honestly not. It's just starting. We're making progress. And so this is why I want to share a little bit about roadmap. I hate it when you don't give a roadmap. I'm like, man, Eric, we need to give a roadmap. She's like, Brandy, hold on, calm down. If you know me, you know I like to make things move, and Eric grounds me, so thank you so much, Eric. But nonetheless, we do have a roadmap to share, and so I'm gonna share it right now. Yes, right? So in Q1, what did we do? 2022, account creation and key management. This is for the iOS roadmap. This is already done. That's why today you can play with it. Going next for Q2 2022, well, we're already in it, and yes, this is available to you for right now, so you can indeed, with the iOS SDK, work in Swift and do token transfers and balances. Next up, core contracts. We're working on this now. Core contracts, there are some available. We got a lot of cool core contracts, like utilization of stablecoins, CUSD, CEuro. So much more is going to be coming available to you as the developers. And next, we have to audit. We don't want to ignore this. There's security best practices in place, and we want to make sure that we go through the code, that we iterate well, that we listen to your feedback, and we put that all into that code base, right? It's an evolving process. It's not just setting it to one version and just letting it sit there. We want to continue to evolve with you. Earlier, Eric asked about developers. Once again, all the developers in room, raise hands, just so I can understand. Oh, wow, we got more. Eric, there's more than you thought. See this? Okay, I don't want to ignore the product leaders, though. Product leaders in the space. So do we have product leaders there? Okay. All right. What about the designers in the room? Because we need good user experience. Any designers? Nice. Very good. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I love it. We're a community at large. It's not just developers. It's not just product leaders and product designers. It's really uniting together and communicating. This is why it's so important that we continue this roadmap with a mindset to include all, because the user experience depends on well-thought designs. That was well-thought design then trickle over to the engineers, right, that are building the products, making sure these services are working. So the roadmap are going to continue to evolve. This is literally our first release. So right now, alpha available today. Now the Android roadmap, very similar. We're just pushing out that timeline, okay? Because we know that to standardize, to bring this unification to play, that we need to check the balances between the two SDKs. Because there are different platforms, there's different nuances, and we want to make sure that we have alignment, that there's parallel. So if you're a developer that's a polyglot engineer, and polyglot means that you work with many code bases. You're not just stuck into one language. You're open to them all. You got projects in Android, you got projects in iOS or React Native, wherever it would be. We care about the experience. We want you to work best and reduce the learning curve, right? So if you're using a method or function on iOS, we want that same method and function available to you in a like-to-like experience on Android, and we're definitely going to achieve that. So this is the roadmap, Q3 2022. We're kicking things off. We're making sure that those parallels exist. We're making sure that we provide that for you. And we also need your help because we're not perfect, right? We can't be in a walled garden building these tools all by ourselves. We need you, every one of you that has an idea. You feel like you can contribute. We love for you to take this QR code, submit a feature, and we're listening. Every feature that you put in, we're going to review it. We're going to communicate as a team and say, hey, this is what the community needs. Let's make it happen. So you can count on the fact that if you submit, we're going to pay attention. Some ideas is modularized UI components. Like, what does that mean? It's like user interface. As the designers in a room, you know, you're thinking about the user experience, and everything's a module, right? It's like, let's plug this module in. Let's make sure that you have this card that does this action for a thing. But for the developer, they want to streamline that. They want to make sure that they write one piece of code, it's reusable, and it works well. So modularized UI components, one of them. Next, governance management, right? I mean, we have the world of DAOs floating up. 2022 is extremely important for DAOs, I believe. And we want to make sure that we include those too, managing a DAO, to vote, to do all those fantastic things. These are just ideas, by the way. I would love to hear from you to submit features. So ecosystem integrations, that could be your project. Maybe you have some cool feature that you would like the community to have access to on the native SDKs or other SDKs that we're building. So please, please submit. All right, I'm not done. I have something else I want to update. Because when we onboarded, there was a bit of a problem. It's like, how do you get external data into your smart contract? I mean, this is quite common. Like Ethereum with Oracle is so easy. Like it's established. And Celo, we wanted this too. So the Celo Foundation, C Labs, everybody in the communities worked really, really hard to make sure that we have this access. So Redstone, Eric earlier talked about hackathons. Believe it or not, last year, Redstone provides Oracle services today. You can use this now. They were a first prize hackathon participant for the Make It Mobile DeFi for the People hackathon that occurred just this last year in Q4. So they went through the hackathon, they noticed a gap, they filled it, and it's available. Next up, we partner with Band Protocol. In Band, it's available, tons of data sets there to incorporate into your smart contract, to bring some cool stuff into your user experience. That's available. And all the players in the ecosystem, I'm only listing a few here, but it's like they utilize these, right? And they actually started utilizing these earlier. It wasn't like they're just waiting for the release and they're sitting wondering how we're going to get this data. They're looking to acquire access. Their services depends on things like price tickers, right? Like external token prices, where you can go ahead and set up market functions. You need usable and dependable data. So they're doing that. And the cool thing, too, is that these projects, they have their own APIs. And a lot of times, these APIs provide you a bridge of access to these oracles. So all available. Definitely check it out. So I feel like that was done. I kind of want to walk off here, but I'm not. I have one more fantastic thing. It's like oracles have been important, and there's a gap with Chainlink. I personally have been working with the Chainlink integrations team. We're making a ton of progress. We're doing something called soak testing. I don't know if you know anything about soak testing, but in the engineering world, that means we are testing, hardening this environment, making sure that it's providing the dependability for integrations that the community needs. We're doing this right now. What I would like to do is provide you the opportunity for pre-release sign-up access. Those partners I shared with you earlier, that's what they did, right? Band Protocol, they were able to get early access, they built their applications. We want to provide you opportunity. So please, if you are interested, this is your opportunity to secure a sign-up. All right, that's it. Thank you so much, and have an amazing time at Celo Connect. Well done. Thank you.